Hey guys, Hybrid here, back with another screenplay. Technically on vacation, but I was just really bored last night, so I was like, you know what, why don't I do this and try releasing it on time. After this one, though, I won't be able to release one probably until Monday at the earliest, which is only really like a day of no screenplay, so I don't think that's that big of a deal, but I thought I'd let you guys know, because I know I've been on a roll so far, releasing these every day. But anyways, this is Aquaman 3, subtitled Dark Gods. I hope you guys like the thumbnail, because pretty much that's Cthulhu. And yeah, I thought Cthulhu would be a pretty good villain for Aquaman. Mostly because I was looking up, I was like, I didn't want to do Orm again, like Ocean Master. I didn't want to do him again. I thought that would just be too repetitive, honestly, and I didn't want to reuse Black Manta. So I was like, what would be a big like villain? Also a villain because I wanted to explore more like the Trident of Poseidon. Like how powerful is it? What's the purpose? Like, why did Poseidon give his trident to the king of Atlantis? Like, what's the reasoning behind that? So I thought I'd go into that, and I thought it was a really good fit because if you listen to my Wonder Woman 3 screenplay, the Olympians are pretty much so yeah, this would be a perfect time, I thought, for kind of to go more into the origins of it, not Atlantis, but at least the trident of Poseidon and why the king of Atlantis wields it. And also, I was like, what would be a really cool villain? I was looking up Aquaman, like villains Aquaman has faced that are just really, really powerful. And Night Gods came up, which is basically like Cthulhu. And I was like, wow, okay, why not? Like just why not do Cthulhu? So, without further ado, let's begin. The film opens up with, sorry, forgot to say this. I always say this though. This is an audio experience more than a visual experience. Just listen to the story I'm telling you guys. So I recommend, obviously, you guys check out my other screenplays, especially if you're listening to this one. Check out the Aquaman ones and the Wonder Woman 3 one because it kind of connects with it, because they're both related to the Olympian gods in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, you'll just envision the story I'm telling you guys. Comment below your guys' thoughts while you're listening to it. When you're done, how'd you like it and whatnot. And yeah, image isn't going to change on the screen. So if you want to turn over your phone, if you're watching it mobile, or you want to open up a new tab, play a game, go ahead. As long as you're listening to it. Listening to it is the only thing I ask. So the film begins to the Battle of the Olympians, which was I talked about, and it would have been shown if this was made into a movie in the Wonder Woman 3 screenplay. So we primarily though see the battle between Zeus and Poseidon, which ends obviously with Zeus killing Poseidon with the Master Bolt. Now when Poseidon dies though, we transition to another dimension in complete darkness. Now in that darkness, we see two large white eyes open up, and then they close as the screen goes to black, and we hear like a dark, like humming noise, kind of like a kind of like that. So we cut to Atlantis, and Arthur's training Kaldur'ahm in hand-to-hand combat. Volko, who's Arthur's advisor, watches while giving Kaldur'ahm criticisms on his fighting. Kaldur'ahm then uses some of the hydrokinesis he has to help him battle Arthur. If you want to know more about Kaldur'ahm and his abilities, listen to my Aquaman 2 screenplay, specifically the ending of it when he's kind of involved. And he uses his hydrokinesis to help him battle Arthur. Obviously, though, Arthur's not trying to hurt him. It's a training. He's just trying to improve his combat abilities. And when Kaldur'ahm uses his abilities, it causes the tattoos he has to light up. Now, at this moment, Volko asks for the training session to end, as whenever Kaldur'ahm uses his quote-unquote special abilities, such as hydrokinesis, it causes him pain shortly afterwards, because it's the amount of energy he's using, and he's not that skilled with it yet. And by the way, if you want to know when this takes place, this would be 2 years after my Justice League 2 screenplay, so approximately the same time, basically the same time as the Wonder Woman 3 screenplay. So Arthur ends, he agrees the end to the training exercise. Sorry, I was like stumbling. Telling Kaldur'ahm he needs to work on his foot positioning and also controlling his emotions during combat, because he can't let his emotions get the better of him. Because if it clouds, his judgment, and when he's fighting, if he's not focused, the enemy will win. Now Mira then walks in, showing off a new look. She's 7 months pregnant. And Arthur tells her he wants her to rest as soon as she will be giving birth, but Mira says she's a queen, not a helpless damsel, thus she will not be treated as such and act as such. Kind of like, her pride showing up a little bit. Now, at this point, earthquake occurs. Now, this isn't just like a regular earthquake that would commonly happen every once in a while as Atlantis is underwater. This is a massive earthquake, unlike any ever felt before. Now, Arthur at the same time receives a powerful telepathic message, which actually is so powerful it causes him some pain. And in that message, he sees a vision of a large being, the same being that was seen earlier when Poseidon died. And Arthur doesn't understand, obviously, what just occurred. And when he asks people, if they experienced the same thing he just did, they say they didn't, which, makes him feel like maybe something was directed towards him, which makes him look more into it. But he gets no answers because no one understands what's going on. Mira says that she feels a strange, twisted magic everywhere. This has never been felt before. And this also reacts with Kaldur'ahm due to his connection with the Triumph Poseidon because of his tattoos, which if you want to learn more about, like I said before, Aquaman 2 screenplay I did. And this causes his tattoos to light up again, and he releases a surge of electrical energy before passing out. Now, a few hours later, they're all regrouping together and trying to figure out what happened, and obviously no one knows what's happening. So during that night, while Arthur and Mira are asleep, the Triumph Poseidon begins glowing. And Arthur notices this, obviously, because he's connected to the Triumph Poseidon, and gets up wondering what's going on. And when he grabs the trident, he sees a message from Poseidon. Now, this isn't like a holographic message. This is more like another telepathic-like message. Because obviously, when Poseidon died, the last of his essence was in the trident of Poseidon. So I imagine this kind of like his will, so to speak, or like a fail-safe. If he were to die, this would happen. And the king of Atlantis, when he grabs the trident, he would get the message from Poseidon. So Poseidon tells him he's dead, with his power remaining in the trident for whoever rules Atlantis to wield. Poseidon apologizes for not being able to help the Atlanteans more, but reveals the true purpose of Atlantis and the trident itself. So this is some pretty cool mythology world-building stuff in my DC cinematic universe. But anyways, Poseidon reveals the true purpose of Atlantis is that, long before the war between the Olympians and the Titans, there was a war between various gods of various pantheons. And eventually over the millennia, it really only came down to two of them, which were the Olympians and the dark gods. Now, there were many other gods too, but either they were killed or they left the fighting in fear of death due to the dark gods, which was the other gods obviously fighting the Olympians. Now, the dark gods, led by their master Cthulhu, were the reason actually Hephaestus forged many of the Olympians' famous weapons, such as the trident of Poseidon, the master bolt, the Zeus wields, etc. And what these weapons actually do is obviously they have immense power, but they have that immense power because they were forged to channel and harness the energies that were around when the universe was first created. And that's a nice nod to DC fans, because if you all pay attention to DC mythology in the comics, there's something called the God Wave, which is basically what it harnesses. The Olympians slaughtered the dark gods with, these obviously extremely powerful weapons before they could kill Cthulhu as he escaped into the Nightmare Realm, where, that's like where he's from. So obviously you don't want to go there because he's most powerful there, and he could probably kill any being there at that no matter what. So not knowing when he would return, Poseidon took it upon himself as a precaution to seal the dimension away, basically with his own kind of magic. But the only problem is that the seal is no more as Poseidon is dead, which is why he made Atlantis. And because Atlantis was made to be the salvation of Earth when Cthulhu does return, while the trident is the weapon to kill him. So essentially, at this point, we know that Atlantis was made to defend Earth from Cthulhu when he does return, while the king of Atlantis, wielding the trident, the responsibility is thrusted upon him with Poseidon's death to be the one who kills Cthulhu, which obviously Poseidon recognizes that this is a very powerful task, a powerful enemy, and it's a very dangerous task. So he greatly impresses upon Arthur, or whoever's the king, because obviously he doesn't know Arthur's really the king per se at this point. He's very generalized with his statements, but he says that basically as the king, he needs to defend his people at all costs. And due to how much of the earth is ocean, essentially the world. So after this, Arthur, he tries calling Wonder Woman, actually, because he knows that Wonder Woman acts with the Olympians quite often, but gets no answer. Obviously, like I said before, this is going on during the whole Wonder Woman 3 stuff, so she's kind of busy at this point. So instead, he sends various Atlantean city-states, such as Tritonus, emergency callings for a summit of the various leaders of the Atlantean city-states, to the capital of Atlantis, which is Poseidonis, for the following day. So the next day, the rulers of the Atlantean city-states are in Poseidonis, with Arthur being surprised that actually his brother Orm is the new leader of Tritonus. So that'd be kind of funny to see there. But the leaders at the summit talk strategy, obviously, with how to battle Cthulhu, with all of them agreeing Arthur, as he wields the trident, should lead the charge. Now, Arthur says he will lead the battle, but says that if they are to win, they must all be together. Now, the rulers seem slightly confused by this statement because obviously they are together, they're all allying together, but Arthur means something else. And the rulers stay a bit, they're all kind of a bit confused, some of them mumbling some things to each other, when Orm actually interjects, telling them that basically they all must reunite every Atlantean city-state once again, forming the true kingdom of the great oceans, known in the legends as Atlantis. Because at this moment, Atlantis is actually split up to several city-states. They're not just one massive unified, continent as it used to be. Now, all of the rulers kind of debate among themselves about this. Some of them agreeing with it, seeing it as a necessity at this moment. Others not agreeing with it, not wanting to, basically give up their power as ruler. When Arthur slams his trident, showing his superiority, telling them Orm is right. Either they unite together and win, or they stay separate as they have been, and they die, with the world dying after them. So after this, Arthur leaves the summit satisfied, with Mera and Kaldur'ahm with him, until another earthquake happens, but this time as a result of a massive portal ripping near Poseidonis, where we see the Nightmare Realm, briefly. We don't get to see the whole thing, but we get to see a little bit of it. I kind of think of this a little bit like Pacific Rim, so it'd be really cool to see. With the portal opening up. Arthur then commands the Atlantean armies to assemble, while he himself uses, obviously, the telepathy he has to summon powerful monsters, of the seas, like the Kraken and things like that, to help join the battle. Cthulhu then steps through the portal, a massive being standing from the bottom of the ocean where Atlantis is, while still towering high above the water level. So kind of like you see the image on the screen of like Cthulhu, it's kind of like that. Like, he's massive, obviously, very, very powerful opponent. Now, at this moment, as soon as Cthulhu fully emerges, he releases a horrid sound through his octopus-like head, causing the oceans to become chaotic, very turbulent, and also, clouds form, producing heavy rain and lightning all around. So basically, stereotypical, I'm a massive bad guy type of stuff. Arthur sends the monsters that he summoned to begin the assault, which doesn't faze the Dark God whatsoever. Simply acts, Cthulhu acts like they're not even there, as he just creeps away through the oceans, with lightning actually from above striking down every monster, killing them. Now, the Atlantean forces then go in to attack, not bothering to similarly get Cthulhu's attention, but, Cthulhu, he just doesn't give a shit, basically, about anyone else or anything else. So he reaches a nearby island where he just stands, a little bit on the island, not all the way because he's too big, obviously, and kind of like Silver Surfer did in the Fantastic Four 2 movie, he just starts draining the life off the island, both flora and fauna. It'd be pretty interesting to see on film how they portray that, him basically just draining the life out of everything. But Orm with the army of Tritonus proceed to try stopping Cthulhu. Orm's magic is able to cause Cthulhu, some pain and hurt him a little bit, which obviously does not please Cthulhu in any way, shape, or form. So he releases a roar which blows away Orm's army, while also personally blasting Orm into nothing, basically kind of like disintegrating him, which at this point the other Atlantean armies who saw this retreat, leaving Arthur with no choice but to regroup with the other leaders to plan a new strategy. Cthulhu, after he drains the island, then disappears back into the Nightmare Realm. which kind of gives some relief to the Atlanteans, but at the same time, they just got like a little taste of what Cthulhu can do, and it's not looking good for them whatsoever. Arthur with the other leaders discuss how to hurt Cthulhu, as he seems unable to be hurt, even though Arthur does mention if Orm is able to hurt him with his magic, there's no reason that with the trident they can't hurt Cthulhu, and hopefully with enough strategy they can kill him. Now, one of the leaders, called Kordax, who's from Sharklaco, brings up maybe allowing Cthulhu to just kill everything, saying, he's a god above them, and maybe this is the end, like this is how it's supposed to end. Like if the other gods aren't gonna fight against him, then why should they, kind of thing. Like basically he's a coward, he's given up hope. Now at this moment, Mira, who is standing beside Arthur, punches him off his chair, declaring him a coward, which obviously everyone already thought he was. He gets up ready to attack Mira, but Arthur obviously stands in between them, threatening him that if he lays a hand on his wife, especially because she's pregnant with their child, Arthur is very, very, very protective over her, Arthur will gut him like the coward he is, and personally feed him to Cthulhu. Now, Kordax says he's leaving, and he'll take his army with him, but Arthur reminds him that the army is no longer his, as it's Arthur's now. Sorry, I was kind of mumbling a little bit. Now, Kordax then swims away as he's banished from, essentially Atlantis in general. When he leaves, Mira starts experiencing aches as she's ready to deliver the baby. So Volko takes Mira to prepare while Kaldur'ahm and Arthur get the other leaders with their armies ready to battle. Kaldur'ahm leads a scout team which will look out and report any sighting of Cthulhu whatsoever, while Arthur rushes to the aid of his wife. Mira pushes and obviously, does childbirth stuff and eventually gives birth to a boy. Arthur and Mira name their son Garth Thomas Curry. And Arthur and Mira enjoy the first few moments they have with their newborn son before another earthquake occurs. Now at this moment, Arthur immediately puts on his armor while Mira expresses worry, reminding him what happened last time he fought a god head on, which was Darkseid. And what happened with that, which if you listen to my Justice League 2 screenplay, Aquaman did not really end up well out of that. Now Arthur tells her not to worry, as before, when he was fighting with the Justice League, he was just kind of fighting without, he had a cause, but it wasn't a cause this personal that drives him. He says, he's fighting for more than, what he was before. He has his newborn son, Mira, the memory of his brother Orm, Atlantis in general. And then he stabs the trident Poseidon into the ground as he prays for the strength to kill Cthulhu and to defend his city and defend the world. Now, when he does this, the trident releases energy into Arthur. It lights up, it does that thing, and it releases energy onto Arthur, changing his armor while giving him a surge of power that he can only describe as being godlike. And he then hears Poseidon again, telepathically, kind of like before, but Poseidon tells him that Arthur has all of his power now. So basically Arthur wields the power of Poseidon. He's basically as powerful as Poseidon was before Poseidon died. And he tells him that the power will eventually run out as Poseidon's dead. So Arthur needs to use it wisely and use it to kill Cthulhu as soon as he can. So Arthur then heads off to battle, releasing a blast of energy from the trident immediately, he just shoots out of the water towards Cthulhu, causing Cthulhu not only pain, but also Cthulhu falls over, which creates a massive tidal wave. Now, Kaldur'ahm tells Arthur that, obviously it's a massive wave because Cthulhu is, a behemoth, just size-wise. And the wave he causes is large enough that it might actually hit the United States, like the east coast of it. Like, not the whole east coast, but, part of the east coast. So, immediately, Arthur, kind of showing off his new abilities with all the power he has now, promptly points at the wave, immediately calming it. So now there's no more tidal wave. Cthulhu gets up, looking at Arthur, and this is the first time we hear Cthulhu speak, with a really dark and deep voice, saying he recognizes the trident Arthur wields and the energy it has in it. Now, he and Arthur then, fight, which would be really cool to see, honestly. It'd be cool to see Arthur really just releasing all the power of the trident versus Cthulhu, which, by the way, Cthulhu isn't at full power right now. He's been in the nightmare realm for quite some time, which is why he had to do something such as drain that island of energy, essentially. So he's not like 100%, which is, why now is a perfect chance to try killing him. He and Arthur battle, like I said before, with Arthur manipulating the weather to summon large amounts of lightning to just strike upon Cthulhu. Now, Cthulhu obviously is able to reverse this after he's hit a few times, and releases a pulse so powerful it blows the actual water of the ocean back, just showing the land. Now Arthur is able to stand his ground, because of how powerful he is at this moment. And when the water returns, Arthur actually rides the waves while erecting the earth below to rise and kind of create mountains in a sense, which go through several parts of Cthulhu. Now the reason he could do this obviously is because Poseidon was very, very powerful. If you ever read the Greek mythology, and one thing Poseidon could do is make earthquakes manipulate the earth below. So that's basically what Arthur just did. Now the dark god breaks out of the mountains, him saying that he'll use the sea to kill Arthur in Atlantis and bury any memory of them before devouring the world, to which, Arthur says, basically he laughs at it, saying he can't use the seas against him as Arthur is the seas. Now Cthulhu kind of makes like a hurricane-like thing at Arthur to kill him, basically kind of like to tear him apart. It's kind of like a demented hurricane-looking thing. That's the only way I could describe it. But what this, Arthur he uses a massive water spout to shoot himself up into the air while using the trident to cut into Cthulhu. Now, inside Cthulhu, he basically focuses all of his energy, right? All the energy he has in the trident, he just focuses it and then releases it in a massive surge of power, which literally obliterates Cthulhu. And actually, it's so much power that Volko estimates that it's easily 1,000 times more powerful than a nuclear warhead. Obviously Volko can make a statement like that because Volko's obviously super, super smart and wise, and that's what Volko does. He says shit like that. But the point is, it's a very, very powerful blast. Basically, it's the power of Poseidon, which is ridiculously powerful as he's a god. So with this, Arthur falls into the ocean unconscious, where he's rescued by Kaldur'ahm. Arthur wakes up a few hours later asking if Cthulhu is dead, getting a sign of success from Volko, like a thumbs up. Now, obviously, he's very hurt. He's bandaged up a little bit, but he comments that he can't feel the power of Poseidon anymore before he uses the trident to help himself back up, kind of like a cane. Mira at this moment urges him to address his people, because that's part of what you do as a king, to keep morale up, because obviously they just saw this, crazy ass shit going on. Obviously they're worried. So Mira, with Kaldur'ahm, with their newborn son Garth and Arthur, go out on a balcony where Arthur raises the trident of Poseidon in triumph, and the film ends with the citizens of Atlantis yelling, "Long live the king," over and over again, and kind of like chanting it. So yeah, I hope you guys liked it. I know a lot of you guys have been asking me for post-credit scenes again, so here's the post-credit scene for this one. Batman contacts Aquaman asking what happened, because obviously he has readings of crazy unnatural weather phenomena and earthquakes around and, at Atlantis' location. Arthur says, it was a situation, but it's been taken care of, telling Batman that he actually doesn't think he may be able to be a part of the Justice League anymore. Citing, his duties as king of now a much more larger Atlantis, being a husband to Mera, and a father to both Kaldur'ahm and Garth as, the reasons of this. Like, he just doesn't think he could do all of it. It's a lot to handle. It's a lot of responsibility. Batman says he understands as he looks at the hanged-up Robin costume that, Dick Grayson obviously left when he became Nightwing in the Batcave, and that's where the film ends. So I hope you guys like this. I tried not making it too ridiculously long, but obviously it's like 25 minutes. So comment below what you guys' thoughts. The next one will be Superman, and then Justice League 3. I'm not going to spoil anything about those, but yeah. I hope you guys liked it. Comment below what you guys' thoughts, and I'll see you guys next time.